Okay, everyone. So for the first pose, I'll just be a little bit further away from you because we're going to use a wall, and this wall is far away. But after that, I'll be on the mat. So welcome to Restorative Yoga at the Yoga Space. You can sit for the first pose. If you need a blanket underneath your feet, that's also quite nice. Sit on the bolster, and so that you can have your back, especially your shoulders, supported. And then bring the feet as close as it feels comfortable, because we're going to be here for a while. So you don't want to feel like you're straining and overstretching. It's a restorative class. So let the knees just be heavy and the inside thighs soft and the pelvis supported. And then the back, especially the shoulders, and you can rest your head as well. So rather than being here, lift up from the spine, and then take the thumb onto the index finger and take the little mudra if you want to. And then go ahead and quietly bring the top lid to the bottom lid and close the eyes. So just in these first few breaths, feel as if you can spread the back of the ribs into the wall. So we're not doing, long ujjayi breath. We're doing a soft breath in tonight's class. It might be a bit longer than normal, but keep it really soft. So it's a nourishing breath. Check the fingers are nice and relaxed and just gently curling up. So spread the back body, soften the shoulders down. Then feel the edges of the jaw release and the space between the eyebrows soften. So again, just in these first few breaths, you can let your day go and arrive in the body. So give yourself this next hour just to be fully present in the body, in the breath. And feel fully supported in all the poses. So unlike yin, where we're finding a bit of stress through the body, restorative is where you're finding a way of supporting yourself so you can open and soften. Bring the chin parallel with the floor and rest the head a little bit more. And start to feel you can lift the breath from the back of the tailbone up to the crown of the head. So the full length of the spine as you inhale. And then as you exhale, the breath's coming down the front of the face and the knees can relax a little bit more. So just encourage a few breaths like that. If it feels too much, then just breathe normally, also fine. The main thing is to start to bring attention to softness in the body now. So any grips you're holding on to, just let it go. So if you've still got the mudra, just turn the palms of the hands down onto the knees. So now you've got the weight of the hands onto the knees without pushing. Just encourage a little bit more space between the knees and the groin. And then come back to the length of the inhalation from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Feel like the collarbones can spread a little bit. And a long, soft exhalation. So just stay for another 5 or 6 breaths, another minute or so. Notice where there's a little bit more space, a little bit more openness, and perhaps a little bit more grounding through the pelvis as well. And just with the last few breaths, really soften and relax the abdomen. And just bring the hands to the bolster, bring the knees together. Let the feet come to the floor, and then just rest the head onto the knees. If the head doesn't meet the knees, don't worry, just get a curve in the spine. I'm going to do quite a lot of forward folding, so it's just a gentle curve through the spine while I move my bolster over onto the mat. And then when you're ready, rolling up. So if you have to move now to bring your mat back into the center of the room, you don't really need a mat for restorative, to be honest, but if you've got a mat, that's fine. Take your time, Laura, that's great. So we're going to do quite a few forward folds to start class for the first half, and then we'll do some gentle chest opening for the second half of class. So forward fold allows the brain to release and the mind to quieten, as well as opening the back of the body. So depending on what you've got, I'll just show you what we're going to do, and then you can decide whether you, with the cushions or whatever you've got. We're going to bring the front body from the pubic bone or the top of the thighs, so the head and chest is over the bolster, and then you can rest the head in the hands. So we'll be here for about 5 minutes. So you really want a full support along the whole body if you can. Just see how it feels. Yeah. I don't know if that'll be long enough. So you want to have top of the thighs on and just above the nipples coming off, and rest the head down. So the legs can relax, and all the little muscles on the spine can release. So just have a little wiggle around till you feel comfortable here now. So because you're squashing your ribs in these forward folds, the breath perhaps will come towards the back of the body. Shoulders can drop down. And then you can just allow yourself to refine the breath a little bit. So feel like the rib cage is just falling away from the spine, all the little spinal muscles around the edge of the spinal muscles and tendons, tissue at the edge of the spine is just softening outwards and ways, almost like you're making yourself a little bit broader. And then with the head down, bring the head to a cushion if you want, or rest it on your hands. The brain cells can just fall forwards. And the legs can be fully heavy. So feel supported, be supported. See how much you can let go. And then slide the shoulders away from each other. So you're letting go of any tension you're holding on into the shoulders. If you've got the arms folded, just fold the other hand on top now. Or if you've got your head turned one way, try and turn it the other way. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then the main thing in restorative is to be supported and feel really comfortable. So if anything, what I'm giving you is just a guide. So if anything doesn't feel quite right, make it up. Find your own version where you can find this opening through the back body. Let the weight of the front body fall. Armpits soft, feet heavy. And sacrum soft and broad as well. Feel the front of the pelvis where the legs meet the pelvic joint softening. We quite often grip around the femur head into the groin. Just let that release and soften into the bolster or whatever you've got underneath you. Notice if you can bring the breath all the way down to the lower back. So that can spread as well. Another few breaths here now. Take your last inhalation. Exhale fully. And then very quietly lift the head first. Ease yourself back. And then just come back with the knees together and walk all the way back. Just for a few breaths. Rest the head onto your support and come into child's pose. So now you feel the shoulders nice and soft and broad. A little bit of a curve through the spine. And then lift the head and come up. Ooh, take a breath. Good. I love that pose. I really find it very beneficial. So if you haven't got a brick, maybe bring some support just to raise the top front of the bolster up. You can put a cushion or so just have it at the front of it just a little bit higher for the next few poses. And then a blanket or a cushion on top for your head, whichever is more comfortable. So again, improvise as you can. So the top end will be a little bit higher, if possible. It doesn't really matter. And then bring the knees nice and wide, the width of the mat. So we're going to come into supported child's pose. So you're not kneeling on the mat, but you're bringing the support of the bolster into the belly. Inhale, and then as you exhale, releasing down, and then just turn the head one way. So feel like a baby resting down. Quieten the shoulders. And then again, it's the same thing in the spine. All the little muscles down the edge of the spine are just softening and opening. And then settle in. If you need a blanket for your knees or something, then please make yourself comfortable. You can wiggle around. I quite like to wiggle around the first few breaths to feel like I'm settling in, like a dog going to sleep. And then just experiment with the palms up or the palms down, where you can release the shoulders the most. And then abandon yourself fully to the pose. So you shouldn't have the knees so wide that you're feeling a stretch or a tugging in the groin, but just wide enough that you can rest the body down. Lower back is curved. The pelvis heavy. So imagine, be a nice thought, wouldn't it, if you were all here in class and I was putting my hands on your lower spine and just giving you a little bit of weight down through the pelvis. So imagine someone's hands just gently encouraging the weight of the pelvis further back and down. So again, feel supported, be supported. Heavier and heavier, softer and softer, quieter and quieter. So all that jangling in the mind, probably still some of it going on. We have a few thoughts that just don't want to disappear. But try to quieten the chatter in the mind a little bit. And allow yourself to just be present. If you've got the head turned one way, if it feels comfortable enough to, just lift the head, look down, ease the neck to the other side and turn the other ear. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then stay with the head on one side, or you can even just bring the crown of the head down, but make sure you can breathe. And then settle in again. So we don't always allow ourselves just this moment of being still or being quiet. Even when we go to bed at night, usually something's going on to keep that whirring in the mind going around. So restorative is a really nice opportunity to just practice letting go, undoing, which is harder than you think. So just feel like a baby now, just let go. You've got permission. Give yourself permission. Another few breaths here. Maybe sink just the last little bit more in these last few breaths. So if you've got the palms turned up, just gently turn them down. If you've got the head to one side, just lift it. And just stay with the head there for a few breaths. And then ease yourself back up. Take a breath here. And then just come off the knees. We'll leave the bolster in this configuration. Just come off the knees. Extend the legs out. And then just bring the hands underneath the knees, just to allow fresh blood into the knees. So you can bring the palms down onto the floor. That's it, yeah. And just rest. Don't have to do anything yogic. Just feel the fresh blood coming into the lower legs now. Good, everyone. So we're going to do a little bit of a supported twist now. So you can keep this height, which is quite nice if you've got it. And again, I'll show you if I can with that's quite how it's going to work with this microphone pack on. So I'll just move it around a little bit maybe. So let's start with the left side body. So I like to bring a cushion as well for my, just kind of comfort for my knees a little bit. The left side pelvis is right up against the bolster. And then as you go towards the bolster, you want to turn until the spine is, and the tummy is coming, rather than lying sideways. You're just turning into it. And then we'll just stay here for a couple of breaths. And then if you can, you'll bring the right ear down. So it's a nice soft twist. And then if you want more stretch for the hip, bring the right leg back. That's why it's nice to have the cushion. But if that doesn't feel good, then don't do it. And then again, settle in, snuggle in. If you want to stay for a few breaths with the head on the left side and then turn it afterwards, that's fine. And if at any time in the pose you need to just turn the head back, just enjoy that supported twist now. And then if you want a little bit of softening and opening in the right hip, extend the right knee behind you. Just feel a little softness coming into the front of the right hip flexor. So take whatever support you need. So left hip, right ear. I've just got the left ear because of the microphone. That's good, yeah. And then lengthen and soften the breath. So if it feels too much of a strain on the neck, then turn the head back again. Make sure you can breathe. Make sure you can be quiet. Heavy shoulders. And again, you can play with the arms up, the palms up, or the palms down, but broaden and soften the shoulders. You can even take the arms out or down, or a little bit, just to play with wherever you can quiet and soften the shoulders. So because you've got most of the left side ribs on the bolster, the breath will come a little bit more into the right side body. And that will help to soften open the right hip if you've got the knee behind you. And again, imagine you're a baby just in that state where you're completely passive. So all this quiet work is very soothing for the nervous system, digestive system, and all the internal organs. Just get a little bit of a rest. A few breaths on this side now. So if you've got your head turned, so you've got your right ear on the bolster, then just turn it back till the left ear's on the bolster. There, you take your time. Stay there for a couple of breaths. And then bring the knees together if you've got them apart. And then ease yourself up. Just stay sitting. In fact, I just like to just bring the left arm and have a little lie down on the left side body. Like a goddess. Okay, and then lift yourself up. So we'll do all that on the other side now. So take whatever you need, and we'll put the right hip onto the edge of the bolster. So take your time to bring both hands to the sides of the bolster. One side might be stiffer than the other, and twist gently into it. So when you come down, if you can get the left ear to the mat, to the bolster, then do. And then if you can get the left thigh behind, then that'll just soften and open the left hip flexor. So wherever you can, feel that softness and comfort. Where you can let go and be supported. So again, you might want to wiggle around a little bit at first till you feel really comfortable. And then let the pose do its magic on your body. So no effort required. Nowhere to be, nothing to do. Just the ebb and flow of the breath coming in and out. So again, yes, if it feels too much to have the head turned, then do bring the right ear to the bolster. Slightly deeper twist with the ear, left ear. Nice healthy spinal twist here. And notice if either of your shoulders are gripping on, and then just see if you can let them release a little bit more. stay with a sense of softening, quietening. Breathing a little bit more towards the left side of the body now. If there's any clenching in the jaw, just take a few swallows or rub the tongue around the teeth to make space in the mouth. So you haven't got that clenching, especially at the back of the jaw. And see if you can release a little bit more through the left hip. The last minute or so here now. So if you have got the head turned to the left, then just ease it up till the neck is long. And then turn the head back so the right ear is on the bolster. And then bring the knees together. Ease yourself back up. And then if you want to, I quite like to just have a little lie down on the right side body. And then you can feel the breath front and back of the body evenly. And then take your time to come back up to sitting. I'm just going to move this around now a little bit, sorry. So the next pose is everyone's favourite. Supta Baddha Konasana on a support. So you can leave the bolster configuration as it is. And it's up to you, but I quite like to have the pelvis fairly close in. Some people like to have a little bit more space between the pelvis and the ribs. So just come down and see how it feels. Bring the blanket or the cushion right underneath your neck so it supports it. And then if you need a little bit of support for your thighs, bring your cushion underneath your thighs, soles of the feet together, and then just tuck the tailbone underneath and allow the knees to fall out. So just bring the feet, again, if you need a blanket underneath your feet, do that. Bring the feet so you're comfortable. And then just, you can take the arms out to the side if the backs of the palms come to the floor easily. If not, just bring the elbows to the floor and rest the hands on the ribs or the abdomen. And wiggle the head round so the chin is parallel. So we've done quite a lot of forward folding until now. So now this is an opportunity to support the back body with the ribs expanding a little bit more with this bolster underneath the back of the body. The ribs can lift and open. So it's a really wonderful pose for feeling the breath coming a little bit deeper. So not to force it, but just to encourage the rib cage to expand sideways, the abdomen to broaden, and the shoulder blades to settle away from each other again. Heavy knees, heavy feet. And feel that furrowed space between the eyebrows just releasing as well. So the eyes can drop backwards and downwards into the skull. If at any point it feels too much with the knees apart, then you can bring the feet wide and let the knees fall in. But it's very nice to open the groin and open the abdomen if you can. Stay here. So if you want to join me in a little bit of focused breathing, then we'll take the length of the breath. So if that doesn't feel right, then just breathe normally. We'll start to bring the inhalation from the pubic bone. So you broaden the abdomen, wide into the rib cage and up towards the collarbones. And then a long, soft exhalation out through the nostrils, like you're letting the air out of a balloon. The navel just gently floats backwards. And then take a couple of normal inhalations and exhalations. So we'll do that again with a pause at the top. So when you're ready, start the inhalation from the pubic bone. Spread the abdomen. Spread the ribs. Lift the breath all the way up to the edges of the collarbones without force. And just pause the breath, nice and soft. Long, soft, slow exhalation. Like you're reluctant to get rid of the air. Float at the end of the exhalation. And then take a couple of normal breaths. So notice if you can take that inhalation right to the end of the breath without squeezing or forcing it. So again, starting from the pubic bone, lifting the breath up. Top of the collarbones, pause the breath at the top. And see how slowly you can let the air out of the body. So you can float at the end of the exhalation. Take some normal breaths. So if you want to do 2 or 3 more of them, that's fine. If not, just stay with the normal breaths. If you want a little bit more opening in the ribs, you can fold the arms above the head. So the armpits are opening, the shoulders are opening a little bit more. See how much you can sink the sacrum, the lumbar. So it's tendency to grip on there even when we think we're letting go. Couple more breaths here now. Maybe another minute. So if you have got your hands above the head, just quietly bring them onto the abdomen. And then slowly bring the knees together. You have been there for quite a while. Leave the upper body where it is and extend the legs out one at a time, nice and wide apart, and then let the feet fall away from each other. So you've still got that little bit of opening in the groin. Bring the hands to the belly. So take a couple more of those long breaths in supported Shavasana now. So again, lifting from the pubic bone. You can feel how soft the abdomen is now. Up towards the collarbone. Now as you let the exhalation out, feel it coming from the nostrils, softening the face, coming all the way down the body, down the inside thighs and out through the feet. So maybe a longer breath. And then normal breaths. And again from the pubic bone, broad across the body up to the collarbones. Exhale down the face, down the front body, down the inside thighs all the way out through the toes. So you feel the length of the breath just disappearing out of you. Do a couple more of those in your own breathing pattern. Just play with how you can bring the breath in and out of the body. And then just let the palms of the hands fall by the side of the body upwards. I'll stay for another minute or so here in supported Shavasana. So to come out of this pose, we're just going to bring the elbows to the floor, quietly lift the head, bring the knees in and come up to sitting. So we have been there for quite a while. You can leave the cushions here if you want, or I quite like to now bring the bolster underneath the knees. So we're doing quite a lot of groin opening tonight. Sorry for this. It's all good. So you've got something to support the legs now, and maybe something to support the head when you come forward. So we're going to rest forward now. It's complete opposite. So just take your time because we have been on the back of the body for a long time. It was going to broaden out the sacrum. So bring what you need to be comfortable for a few minutes in this last forward fold now. So resting down. Make sure you can breathe though. So now this is quite a nice forward fold with nothing blocking the breath on the abdomen or the ribs. And the legs can be heavy because they're supported. If it feels too much to have the head down, you can rest the hands on the, and then just let the head be heavy. The spine is nicely curved, but broad in the lower back. Notice how quiet your breath is now. Maybe notice how soft the face is. Full breathing all the way down to the belly, to the lower back. So on the exhalations, you can release and let go a little bit more. So when you're letting go, there's always another layer you can release. When you feel you've let go, there's another whole layer underneath. They'll just soften just that last little bit more. So keep digging into releasing, softening, melting. Feel like the whole body's just melting away. It's especially nice to do this in warm weather because everything goes just that little bit easier and you're not thinking about being cold. Last minute or so here now. One more deep inhalation. Exhale fully, get heavier, get deeper. Then take your time, lift the head first, very quietly. And then lift the head all the way till the throat is open. So just going gently into the opposite direction. Move anything that you had to support your head. And then just bring the legs over the bolster. Everybody okay? So we don't need the brick anymore. We can get rid of that. But you do need your support, bolster, whatever you've got. So now we're going to bring the bolster underneath the pelvis. So I like to get into it by kind of sitting onto the edge with my bum hanging over. Yeah, you might want a cushion or a blanket for your head. And so when you come to lying down, the bolster supporting the upper part of the sacrum, and then you can bring the blanket underneath your head. Sorry, I'll just get my timer thing. So that you don't want the, make sure you've got the blanket or whatever you've got all the way down to the neck. So the chin is parallel. So you've got a little lift for the pelvis. Just work it out where you need it to be. It doesn't want to be in the lower back. And then keep the legs bent for the moment. So it's like supported bridge or supported constructive rest, actually. So now we've made this softness in the abdomen. It should stay nice and soft here. And then spread the skin of the soles of the feet into the mat or the floor. So you've got that spreading action in the feet. So the feet are heavy. We tend to be a little bit light in the big toe side on this pose. So try to, not with any effort, just feel that engagement of the feet. And the pelvis supported, shoulders relaxed. And then you could really soften in the femur head and the thigh muscles. You almost feel like the thigh bones and the front of the thigh muscles are falling down towards the pelvis. And when you do that, the shoulders should drop a little bit deeper in. So almost again, imagine someone pressing gently into your shoulders and into your knees. So now the front of the body is falling towards the back of the body. So even though the knees are up, the legs are a little bit like jelly. A really nice concave bowl of the abdomen now. Imagine you've got a bowl of water just hanging. And then take the arms out to the side. So you feel the weight of the arms. They should feel heavy. And then just gently let the arms float up, the shoulders stay in contact with the floor. Hands level with the shoulders, so you're not taking them into each other. And then drop the shoulders down. Keep the legs heavy. Float the arms away from each other. Just allow the sternum to open as the arms release heavily. Nice, and so arms are quite heavy, so let the weight go. Allow it to release down heavily till the hands are back on the floor. Do that a couple more times in your notes. Just experiment with how you can play with the weight of the arms and the shoulders. Might want to just imagine they're hanging from the ceiling with the fingers and the shoulders are dropping down. And maybe you want to drop the elbows first so you feel the wrists and the arms heavy. So the sternum, the ribs should be spreading a little bit more now. If you want to do that one last time, then please do. And then just for the next few breaths, notice how heavy your shoulders are. And then just let the left knee fall, hold the back of the leg rather than yanking the front of the leg. So let the thigh muscle drop in. And then if you want to extend the right leg along, then do. If it feels too tight in the hip, then just let it go. One more breath here. Let that left leg slide back, the right leg come in. Take a breath, and then right knee dropping in, hold the back of the right leg. So again, if you just feel the weight of the leg, and then if you want to, go ahead and extend the left leg. And then slide the left leg in, the right leg back. If you want to move the bolster just a little tiny bit further down, then do. So your choice now, you can either extend both legs long or just let both legs float up towards the ceiling for a minute or so. So I quite like to just let the legs float freely. Same way as you can even take the arms up as well, like a cat that wants its tummy tickled. So just feel like you're hanging from the ceiling. If it just doesn't feel comfortable, extend the legs or just keep the legs bent. Just be here for a minute or so. Keep the weight of the pelvis dropping into the bolster. If you want to play with bringing the legs a little bit away from each other, or even rolling the ankles. Just reversing the flow of blood a little bit. And very slowly, you've got the legs in the air, bring the knees towards the chest. And then one at a time, bring the feet back to the floor. So all we're going to do now is just lightly lift the pelvis, slide the bolster down, or you can just get rid of it till you feel the back body on the floor. If you want to have the bolster there for Shavasana, the legs will come long. If you don't want it, so you should feel really broad across the sacrum now. So just come now into whatever you want to do for Shavasana. So we will be here for a little while, so settle into it. If you're not warm enough or it's too light, turn the lights down. You've got time to make yourself comfortable now for your Shavasana. So we've done quite a lot of deep work now. Surprising how tiring restorative yoga can be. So if at the end of this, when I do bring you out, you do want to stay, that's absolutely fine. Feel free to stay and settle in for the night. But now just last few focused breaths. So just watching the breath coming in and out, noticing if there's any residual tension left in the body, that you can just let that go, maybe around the wrists or the jaw, the back of the eyes, the edges of the throat. Just part the lips a little bit. Move the tongue around the mouth. You're not gripping onto the tongue. And then sink the back body. Melt the front body towards the back body. And feel every cell in the body quiet and the skin soft. Just allow yourself to come fully and deeply into Shavasana. And then just start to notice any sounds you can hear inside or outside the body. And again, maybe just move the mouth, the tongue. Rub the thumbs across the tips of the fingers. They should feel very soft and smooth. And then keeping this sense of quietness and stillness, bring the hands back to the belly. So if you just feel that last moment of quietness, release, just quietly bend the knees up if you're coming out of Shavasana. If you want to stay lying down, then please do. If you're coming out, bend the knees. And just rub the hands across the face a little bit and maybe blink the eyes open and closed. And then roll over when you're ready. Don't be in a rush. And then come back to sitting. Fold the palms at the heart center. And then just let the space between the eyebrows rest into the thumbs for a breath. Inhale here. As you exhale, release the hands, lift the head. Namaste, everyone. I'll come and unmute you. Sorry, stop recording. Yes.